who do you look at around the league as you're studying and say, we're going to have to run through them?
Celtics.
No one in the West?
Nah, I'm fine in the West.
Brian Windhorst joining us now. Wendy, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for being with us. Is Ja right about the Western Conference?
I love Ja Morant, and I love his confidence, and it's a fuel for this team. By the way, yeah, he's trashed in the West here. He's also taken a slap at the Milwaukee Bucks, who are top in the East right now. And I know why he is, because last week the Bucks came into Memphis, and the Grizzlies beat them by 40. Ja had a triple-double. Now, Drew Holiday didn't play in that game, and Chris Middleton played one of the worst games I've ever seen him play. But they obviously feel pretty good against Milwaukee. So let's not ignore that they're taking a shot at the team that I think's got the best chance to win the East. When you look at the Western Conference right now, there's a whole bunch of teams that all have their own problems to worry about. They can't worry about the Grizzlies. You go straight down the list. The Denver Nuggets are tied with the Grizzlies at the top of the West. They've got defensive issues, and when Jokic goes off the court, they kind of fall to pieces. The Pelicans have been a great story, but Brandon Ingram has now missed a whole bunch of time with a foot injury, and he still doesn't have a timetable for coming back. You go down and look at the Suns, a team we thought had a real chance. They've had nothing but injuries. Also, we have no idea what their ownership situation is going to do as the course of the season unfolds about whether they can make a significant trade or not. Heck, the defending champs just got home from a road trip, 3 games under 500, not sure when Steph Curry is coming back. The Lakers have not even announced an injury timetable yet for Anthony Davis. They're kind of hoping that if they don't announce something, it must go away. So I can understand why the Grizzlies are looking over there saying, there's nobody big bad that we're afraid of. And the Grizzlies can look you in the eye. I wouldn't necessarily agree with this, but they can look you in the eye and say, hey, listen, we lost 4-2 to the Warriors last year in the playoffs. We lost game 1 by 1 point. We lost game 4 by 3 points. Either one of those go our way, we might have been in the finals last year. And that's true. But Stephen A., the one thing that I will tell you about the Grizzlies, while I love their team, and not only do I love their team, they haven't even had their whole roster yet this year. They haven't played one game, but they've had all their guys together, and it's coming up because Des Bane is coming back from a foot injury and going to be joining Jaren Jackson, who's been playing really well for him since he came back. But the one thing that they lacked was poise. It almost cost them the series against the Timberwolves. It cost them at times against the Warriors. And for this team to win 3 playoff rounds or 4, they got to have some poise. And Ja Morant making this comment is a reminder that they're high on confidence, but they got to remember that there's a lot of steps they have to do, and you don't declare anything in December.
Well, let me say this. If anybody can talk, it's Ja Morant, because that brother going to show up. Let's be very, very clear about this. This is a superstar. This is a bona fide superstar in this league. A guy that we have seen show up in the postseason. And the only thing that's derailed him in the postseason is injuries. That's what we got to look at when we're watching Ja Morant. He comes at everyone fearlessly. He ain't playing, okay? So let's make sure we clear that up before anybody sitting there, oh, he's disrespectful, whatever. He's a guy that will talk junk and then step on a basketball court and bust your ass. That's who Ja Morant is. That's number one. Number two, though, I still disagree with him. And it ain't because he mentioned Boston instead of Milwaukee, because I'm Boston instead of Milwaukee. It's because he didn't mention the New Orleans Pelicans, a team that they've split with this year, a team that beat them the first time without Zion Williamson on the court. Okay, C.J. McCollum dropped about 30 that game. Brandon Ingram was in the lineup. Second time you go up against them, Zion's playing. I don't think Brandon Ingram played that game. But when you talk about, but listen, when you talk about Zion and Brandon Ingram, C.J. McCollum, and the rest of their crew, let me tell you something. The New Orleans Pelicans is a team to be reckoned with. And if there's one team that could get up in Memphis's face and say, yo, we here. We ain't going anywhere. Let's go. It would be them. So I'm surprised that he didn't at least mention one team in the Western Conference. But then again, it's Ja Morant. So I got to wait and see before I'm judgmental about it, because Lord knows if there's anybody that's going to back it up. And I'm not talking about just with his game, with the attitude. I'm talking about as him. You know this, Wendy. He going to get in cat's face. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I said it. What's up? He might walk down to their locker room just to remind them he said it before he gets out on the court with them. That's the kind of attitude this dude has. There's a superstar we're talking about here. A superstar game and a superstar heart. That's what I see in Ja Morant, so I don't mind.
Yeah, I talked to Danny Green last week. He was in the studio with us at NBA Today. He's hoping to be back before the end of the season. He's got 3 rings. He loves this team. He thinks they've got championship mentality, so they're going to get to prove it. They're going to have people coming.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports. About that time again, let's talk about the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant sat down with Malika Andrews last night and basically said, if there's one team in the NBA that he has to, go through, it's the Celtics. And yeah, I get it. The Celtics were on a tear. But they've fallen the last couple of games here and there. But that's not to say that they are elite. They're still elite. But Memphis Grizzlies, they're number 1 in the West, tied with the Nuggets. So Malika Andrews basically asked him a question. You didn't say anyone in the West. He goes, I'm fine with the West. If there's one thing I know about Ja Morant, he has the utmost confidence. And so do the Grizzlies, right? Rightfully so, they're number 1 in the West. And last year in the playoffs, they took it to the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors, they had trouble with the Memphis Grizzlies. It wasn't an easy path. And Memphis Grizzlies have all the talent in the world. So the question here is, I agree with Stephen A. Smith, because when Ja Morant said, I'm fine with the West, he did not mention Zion and the Pelicans. Now, if there is one team that could give them trouble, it's the Pelicans, because the Pelicans, they won 1 game against the Memphis Grizzlies this season without Zion. And I think CJ McCollum went off that game. But, it's kind of like Ja Morant should be worried about the Pelicans. I'm not saying that Pelicans will easily beat them, because that matchup could go either way, because both teams are elite. But Ja Morant should be worried about the Pelicans, because Pelicans beat them once this season. But I don't know the outcome, because both teams are crazy elite. So, which leads me to believe that this is going to be an epic battle if these 2 teams meet in the playoffs. So, who do you pick? Do you pick the Grizzlies, or do you pick the Pelicans? Because both teams are just insane, right? From every position down, they don't have veteran leadership, which they should. They should pick it up, but I think they feel like they are fully equipped to go into the playoffs and do some damage. Pelicans have slipped just a tad bit, but it's just still the regular season. So big question for everyone out there is, who do you pick? Do you pick the Grizzlies or do you pick the Pelicans? Because both teams are fairly poised to do some damage in the playoffs, like I said. So which team do you actually go with? Do you go with, like, if the playoffs happen today, right, and it was the first round, you have to pick a team. You have to pick either the Pelicans or you have to pick the Grizzlies, right? What team do you pick? Because I think these teams are just evenly matched. I don't know. That's a very tough call. If it was up to you, which team would you pick, right? Would it be the Pelicans or would it be the Grizzlies? If it was first round starting starting today, which team would you pick? And they're fully healthy. You got Brandon Ingram, who's fully healthy. Dylan Brooks is playing, but he's been on and off here and there. But I'm talking every team. Both teams are fully healthy. Which team would you pick? Would it be the Grizzlies or would it be the Pelicans? Right. And also, leave a comment in the comment section saying which team do you think would beat the Grizzlies other than your team? Would it be the Clippers? Would it be the Warriors? Would it be the Nuggets? Or do you flat out say Grizzlies are taking the West? Leave a comment in the comment section. This is Jag from Jaggy Sports.